I'm Joyce Spindel Rockwood, and this clown over here is David M. Spindel. Welcome to the first episode of Precious People Encounters. Everybody needs a hobby. In this case, my dad not only needed a second one because he's always said he gets paid to do his hobby, but he needed a third because he's always loved being the class clown. So Dad, why don't you tell us about your second hobby and when this whole thing around precious people all got started?
Well, first of all, I got to take off this nose because I can't breathe. That's a lot better. It actually started, the hobby technically started in 1978, but it really started way back when. My dad was a pharmacist back in Brooklyn, and he worked 7 days a week. And what he did is he did the family a favor. On Sundays, he only worked from 9 to 1 rather than 9 to 9 like during the week. And on Sunday, we would either go to the movies, go visit our grandparents, or our favorite thing was to sit on the porch back in Brooklyn and watch old-time movies. And I got to really appreciate some of the old-time movie actors and actresses like Katharine Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart. And I thought that was kind of neat. Then years later, when I became a photographer, I got this idea because whenever I would see a TV show, I mean, not a TV show, but a movie on TV, it would remind me of the days when I used to watch the movies with my dad back in Brooklyn. He had since passed away, so it was kind of fond memories seeing these and the memories I had when I was with my dad. So I decided I would write to a celebrity. The first one I wrote to was in 1978, was John Wayne. And I decided I would go through my collection of photographs and find something that was applicable to something he had done. And of course, I had a lot of Western still lifes I did. So I picked out one particular photograph, I framed it and sent it to him, hoping, I might hear from him. Weeks later, I got a thank you note and an autographed picture, which totally freaked me out. That very picture, same picture, I ended up using in a puzzle that I created on the life of John Wayne, just a few years ago. But then I said to myself, gee, this worked. Why don't I write to some other celebrities? And that's what got it started.
So that year again was that you sent him a letter?
That was 1978.
78.
And since
I was 8.
Since then, I've written over several dozen letters to a lot of celebrities. Most of them, all of them technically have responded. And a lot of them ended up saying, because I would ask them if they're ever in New York, if they'd like, I'd do a portrait of them, because I sent them several portraits that I had created. And 9 out of 10 of them said they would pose for me. And of course, I told them there's no fee involved, which is great.
So, you loved John Wayne, right? Was he like a childhood favorite? Like, was he kind of like a hero for you? Yeah. Like, what did you love about John Wayne?
Well, I think everybody liked John Wayne in the cowboy movies. He's America's hero. So
yeah.
It was really kind of neat. And like I say, I wrote to him and I said, well, he answered, maybe someone else will answer. And
what did you like? Do you remember what you wrote to him in the letter?
Not really. I mean, it's a long time ago. I'm an old man now. I'm getting a little senile. I didn't save a copy of his letter, but what I started to do afterwards, whenever I wrote to anyone, I would save the letters. I wrote a lot of letters to Betty Davis and Katharine Hepburn, because after they responded and I got to meet them, we actually became pen pals. I have like maybe 8 to 10 letters from Katharine Hepburn, and I got over a dozen letters from Betty Davis, and Jerry Still, who played Mr. Costanza. So they all, became friends.
So Dad, the whole reason why you started doing this sort of like precious people, this letter writing and everything, was because these people were really like an imprint for you in your childhood, right?
Yeah, and what I basically wrote in my letters, because I said of all the enjoyment I received watching their movies with my dad, I said I couldn't give them an Academy Award, but I could give them a framed photograph to show my appreciation for the enjoyment I received from their films. And that's the theory behind why I would write to these people and send them pictures. I mean, just quickly, about a year ago, I got an email from someone named Cicely Peck. I didn't know who she was. I thought it was one of these girls from Russia looking for a boyfriend. So I deleted it. The next thing I know, I got another email from my website. It's from the same person. It turned out to be Gregory Peck's daughter. She said to me, her mother had just passed away about a year ago, and she's emptying out her dad's den and hanging on the wall is this beautiful Western still life in a beautiful antique golden frame signed by me. And she wanted to know if I was a personal friend of her father's. So I explained to her how I sent it to him over almost 40 years ago. And we became friends via, you know, writing letters. At that point, there was no, you know, I didn't use the internet. But I sent him, like, I had a movie poster called The Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, and what was the other one? To Kill a Mockingbird. And, you know, the end result is he would autograph those things, and I put them in my movie theater that I had in my home back in New City. As a matter of fact, that movie inspired me to be a still life photographer, because if anyone has seen that film, it starts off with a camera sort of weaving in and out on the top of a table and doing close-ups of little inanimate objects. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that I love the best is, you know, dealing with all these little items and putting them together in a photograph. Someone's called my photographs organized chaos.
Organized chaos, organized clutter, right?
Yep.
So Dad, you know, just in summary, I guess, you know, for people who are watching this interview, I guess what I would love for them to know about you, and the whole intention behind why you would write to them was, I mean, you were really, it was your way of saying thank you to them, right? For all of those years, for what they gave to you, all of the memories that you still had of watching movies with your dad.
Right, because if I watched the movie, it reminded me of sitting with my dad watching the movies and the two of us joking around.
Yeah. So you wanted them to have something that you had created that would remind them of their career in some way, or that you thought they would find valuable or precious or beautiful.
Like the Western still life I sent it, both John Wayne and Gregory Peck had, you know, several dozen items in it that reflected things that were in some of the films that they did. So I'm sure when they looked at it, it brought back memories for them also. So it was a mutual admiration society, so to speak.
Cool, really cool. So we're going to do more episodes so that people can hear more of your fun stories. This one is the appetizer for the forthcoming entrees. We hope you've enjoyed it. We've got more to share with you. My dad has had an incredibly illustrious career that's super colorful with a lot of fun stories, and we can't wait to share more of them with you. So, Dad, did you want to share anything else before we close out?
No, I think, for my next story, I'll tell you about a very funny story and how I got to meet and spend several hours with Katharine Hepburn. And my wife was with me when I shared this special time.
Awesome. So stay tuned for the next episode, episode 2 of Precious People Encounters, where my dad talks about his amazing and unique experience with none other than the flower and the delicate lady, Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, she's put up with me, my wife, for 53 years. Unbelievable.
All right. We're not going to get into
I can't divorce her because everything's in her name.
All right. Stay tuned for episode 2 and more clowning around.
Goodbye from sunny Arizona.
See you guys next time.
Bye.